So for those of you that don't know yet, Greg is Coursera's CEO, who just joined us 2 months ago, just over 2 months ago. And Michael and Deborah were very kind to give me the opportunity to introduce Greg to everyone here at ASU+GSV. So yeah, welcome, Greg.
Thank you very much. Great to be here with you all.
So we're going to chat for 15 minutes, but I think Greg, as Greg knows, everyone at Coursera, the board, the whole team was really excited when you decided to join us earlier this year. So what drew you to Coursera?
Fantastic question. I couldn't be happier about being Coursera. It's been great spending time with the team and getting to know the space and the company. As I think about my career, I spent most of my career at Amazon and was focused on building and scaling businesses and using technology to solve problems for customers and deliver better user experiences. And so with Coursera, there was a real opportunity to apply that experience and that approach to a space that has an immense societal benefit. And so the mission of Coursera of democratizing access to education could not be more appealing. And I think Coursera is incredibly well positioned to help address that mission and make progress against it. And we're at an incredibly interesting time right now in the world. The pace of change is only accelerating with Gen AI. And so the need for learning experiences and upskilling and reskilling has never been greater. And not only is AI driving a lot of that, but it also really provides a vehicle to help address that. To help continue to evolve the learner experience and improve that. And so I felt it was a fantastic place to take the experience that I had before and really expand the societal impact. So couldn't be more thrilled to be here.
Yeah. You mentioned your previous experience. I should say, I think all of us couldn't be more thrilled that you're with Coursera. You mentioned your previous experience. So many of you, I bet many of you, have an Amazon Echo Alexa in your house or use Amazon Prime Video. Disclose ourselves on Amazon's board, but many of you may not know that Greg actually ran Alexa and also ran Amazon Prime Video. So what lessons do you have from that era, running one of the most beloved AI products that's in many of our homes, as well as one of the most important media businesses? What lessons do you have from that era to share with everyone at ASU+GSV?
A few takeaways that I think I'm trying to apply at Coursera, but I think are also relevant for what we're going through in the edtech space more broadly right now. Number one, change is constant, so build organizations that are really nimble and really resilient to change, and try and instill that in your teams. Number two, really focus deeply on the customer. And so that was something that was certainly a mantra at Amazon. At Coursera, our customer is the learner. The same is true for many of you in this audience. And so focus deeply on the learner as your customer, and then how do you address their needs by focusing specifically on what I would call durable customer needs, so the durable needs of the learner, and then figure out how do you build capabilities that help you make progress on solving problems for those learners every single day, day after day, in a continuous fashion. So an example of like a durable learner need, like there is no way that it will not be true that in 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years that learners will not want a more personalized learning experience. There is also no way that it won't be true that over those time horizons, or any time horizon, that they won't want more effective outcomes. So build teams that are focused on making continual progress on those capabilities. And then finally, sort of to go with the nimble and resilient organizations piece, I'm a big believer in approaching every problem with optimism and with a really positive outlook, and then building teams that are passionate about solving those problems. Because I think passion is a force multiplier, and if you're an optimist, you're naturally inclined to look for solutions, to continue to ask questions and be creative about how you approach things. And so I think those are certainly things that I'm trying to do at Coursera, but I think they're also relevant for the moment that we're in within this space.
Yeah, one thing that I think is really gone well at Coursera is all this time there was always a learners first mentality, and I feel like a lot of the team, I think vast majority of the team wakes up every morning, tries to figure out what to do for learners, and that's the most important thing. And that loyalty to learners, I think not just unique to Coursera, but I think for many organizations as well, serves us well in EdTech. So you've been CEO for a little bit more than 2 months now, and done a lot in that time. How should, and I think I know you've been thinking very deeply about Coursera's strategy and work with partners. How should people in ASU+GSV work with you or work with Coursera?
So I've spent the first couple of months, not surprisingly, just diving into all aspects of the organization and the company and our partners, and a few key takeaways. Number one, Coursera is really at its heart a company and an organization that tries to solve problems for learners through partnerships. So obviously our genesis, with Andrew and Daphne, comes from higher education. We have partners across industry. We serve individual learners. We serve our partners in enterprise to help them upskill their workforce. So continuing to strengthen and build those partnerships is a core part of what I'm focused on and what we will continue to do. There are a number of really amazing assets that I feel very fortunate that Coursera has built over time. One, we've had tremendous success about serving learners all over the world, so 168 million registered learners. Two, through those partnerships with higher education, with industry, we have a very diverse catalog of curricula and courses that range from all the way from full degrees to micro-credentials. And so that gives us a lot of flexibility. And then, finally, and sort of a little bit strategically, we have a $700 million balance sheet. And so we don't have any debt. And so that gives us a lot of strategic flexibility and optionality as we think about how to go forward and where we could, apply that money to help better serve learners and help the business grow.
And I think in this dynamic environment, the strong balance sheet creates a lot of options. And I think as we've seen throughout this conference, a lot of talk about AI and a sense that AI is transforming education. I know that you've thought a lot in your career about invention and innovation. So can you say a bit about the approach you're taking at Coursera on invention and innovation?
Absolutely. So, over my time at Amazon, I've been really fortunate to play a small part in some, pretty meaningful inventions from an Amazon perspective, Alexa and Echo being certainly one of the main ones. At Coursera, some of the things that I think we're trying to do are not dissimilar from the challenges that we were trying to solve for with Alexa, which is how do you continue to evolve the learner experience so that you're delivering things that learners may not be directly asking you to do, but that will deeply enhance their experience. And so one of the ways that we try and do that is by organizing as close to the learner as possible. I'm a big believer in having invention happen as close to the customer as possible. Like, of course, I'll have my own ideas, but I'm a much bigger believer in all the ideas that come from the teams that are thinking about those problems very deeply on a day-to-day basis. They're going to have much better ideas than I will. And so empowering those teams by really helping them focus in a long-term way on those problems. So we have teams that are focused continually on improving the experience for our partners in higher education and industry as they create course content. How do you make that easier? How do you apply AI to that so that it becomes a simpler course creation process, and also one where you can augment that course after it gets created regularly with AI so that it stays relevant, and we take the learner feedback that we get so that it continually improves. The same thing is true on the learner side. You see that reflected in things like Coursera Coach, which Andrew spoke about earlier, continuing to invest in those things. And then just doing regular, for me, I love spending time with the team as they're demoing things that they're working on. It's one of the most fun parts of my day or my week when I get to do that, and so trying to find opportunities to do that as well.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I think the Coursera team, including Mustafa, CTO, and a lot of the team, is very deep in Gen AI. And so I think while Coursera's released and announced some features, there's a ton of work going on in experimentation and a lot of fun internal demos that if they work out, will hopefully see the light of day.
Exactly, yeah. We just released a feature called Dialogue that is really aimed at course creators, and it's helping enable them to create an item type within their course that is an interactive AI-driven dialogue for the learner. So to help the learner progress through a course, make sure that they deeply understand a topic, spend more time if the learner's having trouble with it, and course instructors can take their knowledge from the material that they're providing, but also from their knowledge of pedagogy, and really apply that and think about, okay, where in this learning experience should I introduce a dialogue? And that is an instructor-driven decision, while at the same time we have coach, that's a learner-driven decision. And so we have both of those materials, and we'll keep iterating and improving on those, leveraging Gen AI to do that.
Yeah, it's a great feature. Dialogue is a great feature the instructors seem to really like. Yeah. One of the challenges that I know you've been speaking with a lot of people about is in higher education is one of the gems of the world. It's one of the most precious things, I think, in the world. It has lifted so many lives, made so many people better off. In the United States, higher education, as we all know, is facing tremendous stress in terms of funding on the research side and on the education side. A lot of criticism, maybe with some justification, but also a lot of criticisms that may not be as justified about the high cost of higher education, and then also more challenging for international students to get access and stay in the United States with visa revocations and things like that. So what do you think is the right role for us, for Coursera, to support higher education?
Obviously, higher education is the genesis of Coursera with you and Daphne coming out of Stanford. And so higher education and our partners in academia across, not just domestically here in the US, but across the world are incredibly important partners for us. And it's a space that is evolving and it's under stress, to different degrees in different countries. There are a number of things that I think we can bring to that partnership to really help our educator partners and our university partners. So we've built over the years a number of really deep, strong partnerships with industry. And increasingly, we're seeing demand from employers for students and people in the workforce to have skills that they demand that are changing really rapidly. And so as academia and higher education tries to keep pace with that change, we can bring some of the instruction that's created by our partners in industry and create micro-credentials. And we've worked very closely with ACE here in the US, ECTS in Europe, and NSQF in India to get credit recommendations from those bodies for those micro-credentials. So we have 55 different micro-credentials that are now recommended for credit. That's a fantastic way for our university partners to augment all of the curricula that they have today with things that are changing really rapidly, but they're deeply in demand from employers and from the job market. And so that's a great example of one of the partnerships that we can bring. We can also continue to use AI to help inform back to them, here's the data we're seeing about how learners are going through their courses on Coursera and how they can continue to improve those courses to deliver better outcomes for learners. And so those are a couple of the examples that I think about.
Yeah, it feels like in the case of AI, no university in the world has enough AI faculty, and it's so difficult to have faculty adapt to the changing circumstances to teach whatever we really need to teach right now. So I think the working upon is to have great content, help higher education, hopefully will help on multiple dimensions. But hopefully our community can band together, frankly, in this very challenging set of circumstances to get through whatever we need to get through and come out, well, hopefully not too much weaker, maybe even stronger on the other side. I think well, maybe just time for one last thing. It's really great that you're here at ASU+GSV, just 2 months into the job. I think hopefully to Michael and Deborah, this is a sign of how much Coursera respects this gathering and everyone here. Before we jump, do you have any last words to share?
It's been fantastic to be here. Thank you, Michael, Deborah, and all the folks at ASU as well. This is an amazing event. It's been a great baptism for me in the space, getting to meet many of you and learn more about some of the challenges that you're facing and potentially how we can collaborate and partner on helping to solve those for our collective audience, our collective learner community. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.